Tim, the mind-body problem has been probably the obsession of my life. Not unusual in that regard. Perhaps a little bit, and I got a doctorate in neuroscience. Not that that helped very much on that topic, but it was at least the approach I took. And what I'd love to do from your perspective as a Catholic philosopher is your approach to the mind-body problem in terms of what the essence of how you create a human mind and consciousness and the quality that is so difficult to understand in terms of identity theory with the brain, etc. And then describe that in terms of now, and then what happens to that when we die.
Sure, yeah. As a Catholic, I have more data available than non-Catholics do, or at least more stuff that I take as data about how the human is, what the human goes through, what the end state for a human is. So as a Catholic, there's a view that humans have both a body and a soul. A human nature, according to Catholicism and the early councils, is a body-soul composite, flesh enlivened by a rational soul. That's what a human is. And so the question is, well, what is that soul? What does it do? And where does it go? So, for instance...
Is it something that goes? I mean, it could just be a nice term that is not that doesn't have to go anywhere because it's nothing.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if they used the term and it symbolized nothing in the treatises.
All right, no, it's so fair. So it symbolizes something, and you're calling it a rational soul that unites or is with a body.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Yep. So body I know. So tell me about the rational soul.
Yeah. So
now, if you say rational souls, does that mean there are such things as souls that are not rational?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for Aquinas, and the Church follows Aquinas in a lot of these issues, he uses the word anima or animus just to mean that form, that organizational principle, which makes something alive. So everything has an organizational principle. The pew has an organizational principle. There's a way it's put together to be a pew and not a bunk bed.
Right.
There's a way things are put together to get living humans. There's a way things are put together to get living dogs. And whenever he makes something living, he calls an anima or an animus, and that's what we call a soul. So yeah, there are non-rational souls, but don't think he's got humans in dog bodies. Instead, there are dogs that are organized in a certain way.
In a dog way.
In a dog way. So it's a dog soul, but don't read soul as rational soul in the...
Right, okay, so dog soul, that sounds funny, but what you mean by that is an organization of life that unites with basically an inanimate body to make it alive. Now that sounds like vitalism in the sense that you need something special to engender life per se, as opposed to consciousness. So we have two kinds of steps here. We have one from inanimate to animate, whether the animate is something very on the edge, like a virus or a bacterium.
Sure.
But forget that. But certainly at the dog level, to use that example, and then the human level, which is different. So there's the need to make them alive. And then there's a need to go to the next step to build whatever mentality there is in it. Because there is a dog mentality. Everybody who owns a dog would know that. Yeah. And then there's a human mentality. Now, Aquinas would not want to use rational soul for dogness, but will use it for humanness.
That's correct. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Today we use soul to mean rational soul in Aquinas' language. Okay. Yeah.
But if you do it for an animal, you would strip out the rational, but you still have that soul part.
You could still have the thing he calls a soul, though it sounds weird to us.
And is that soul a vitalism in biology per se, just to make it alive, or does that soul have some sort of a mental aspect, and therefore the rational soul of the human is different than the soul of a dog or any animal that doesn't have the rational adjective attached to it?
Yeah, for Aquinas, you know a thing by its powers. So animals, dogs, keep with dogs. Dogs have different sorts of powers than humans. In his language, lower sorts of powers. And so since it has different sorts of powers, it's a different sort of thing.
So let's go to the human, the rational soul of the human. Is it legitimate to say, what is that?
Yeah, it's in Aristotelian language, it's a form or an organizational principle.
Right. So we can call that is it a pattern that in some arbitrary space we could describe and maybe reproduce, and it could subsist, maybe not in a physical way, but in some God way? Is it a pattern of information that's just that if, when you put it into with a body, then it creates a human being, or is it an actual substance in a Cartesian, Descartes kind of substance dualism way? Because pattern of information and substance dualism are the two things I think of. Maybe there's a lot of other answers of what it could be. I just want to find out what it could be, because you're not going to tell me I know what it exactly is. I just want to know what the possibilities are.
Yeah, it's a metaphysical principle that is itself a substance. Here's what I mean. Things like you and I, we're substances.
Right.
We're composed of metaphysical bits or components, the matter, the way the matter's put together. Don't think of these as two different things in the same playing field. Think of it like this. I tell my students this. If they get angry and riot and get a wood chipper and toss me through the wood chipper, and then squeegee it out, pack it all together, and you're going to have different things on different sides. All the same material components, different things on different sides of the wood chipper. The question is, what is it there that makes it a different thing? Now, it's not going to be the case that the thing that makes it different weighs anything. By hypothesis, you have all the same matter on both sides. So it's got to be something besides the mere matter that makes it what it is.
Okay.
Whatever that thing is the organizational principle we're pointing to when we talk about, in this case, a rational soul.
And what happens when we die?
Yeah, well, that's a tricky discussion for Thomists and for Catholics in general. The idea is this: death is a separation of soul from body. The soul goes somewhere, does something. It could go to purgatory and be purged of its sinful inclinations. It can go straight to heaven. It can go to hell. At the end of time, the body and soul are reunited, and you get the full animal there again.
And during this period of time, what is that soul, wherever it goes, purgatory, heaven, hell, is there a consciousness, awareness?
For Catholics, there should be, because purgatory requires a purging of the person's sinful inclinations.
Yeah, but this is not just for Catholics, because Catholics believe it go to everybody.
That's right, yeah. According to Catholic belief.
Right. Okay. I just want to be sure whether I'm included or not.
Yeah, you'll get somewhere.
Okay, I want to be sure I'm not forgotten.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is an awareness.
There's awareness.
There's awareness. And I'll know I'm me. I won't look around, won't have a body, right?
You won't have a body. Looking around is a weird way to put it, but there'll be things to be known, and there will be a knower there. For sure.
And I'll know that I'm the same me that was in St. Andrews in 2017.
There's debate about the following question: does the thing that does the knowing there know it's this man, Robert, or does it know it's the soul of the man, Robert?
Well, I wouldn't mind either one. I mean,
okay.
But if it's the soul of the man, Robert, well, that soul knew that he was in St. Andrews in 2017.
Yeah, because it would know it has sinful dispositions and inclinations that need to be purged from it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not saying you've done any sins while you've been here, but if you have, it's the sort of thing that will be purged.
I hope talking to you it gives me a little bit of a check on the positive side.
Yeah, there you go, a little bit of merit from this.